Welcome everybody to another week of racing. We're back with Ice and F in the next gens racing at Talladega. High speed, big wrecks. A lot to look forward to. This is Francisco, your broadcaster in the booth, and with me is league owner Miss Ria Ferris.
Hello, everyone. And it is a beautiful day here in Lincoln, Alabama, home of Talladega Superspeedway. Glad you can join us for 100 laps of fast-paced entertainment tonight. What do you think?
Oh, it's definitely interesting, especially in these cars. Ever since they updated them, they allow for some massive runs. Should be interesting to see how these guys kind of handle it and predict the runs, because if you're not careful, it's real easy to give the person in front of you a bad bump, and these cars are difficult to save, so there is some potential for some massive pileups.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, pack racing is a completely different thing, basically, and although it requires no skill to do so, it does make it kind of interesting, and it makes you decide whether or not you're going to go with your teammate or you're going to go with a specific manufacturer, such as your own. Who's wrecked out by that point. There's a lot of variables in there. We also have a lot of friends that come and go in and out of the league that are on separate teams, and once their teammates get wrecked out, possibly you'll see friendships forming out there on the track. Steven Sear and I are friends. We actually work with each other, so it's possible late in the game, if he and I are one of the only ones left, you'll see the 12 and the 5 perhaps teaming up, try to get up to the front. You just really never know in a game like this, right?
Oh, you're right. And speaking of which, since we're talking about the drivers, how about we go through the slideshow and take a look at today's drivers for today's race?
That's a great idea, FJ. Let's go ahead and do that.
Alrighty, and that was a look at our drivers for today's race. As we take a look at our practice times, you can see James Bowles up here at the front, but we can all safely assume the biggest thing at this track is like Miss Ria said, the track, your teammates, and how well you can push.
Want to push at the wrong time either. Pushing in the corners is a big no-no. You want to try to give a big push up the back stretch leading into the turn 3 before you get there, and then have a kind of a good run coming into that corner and then into the tri-oval, and then a lot of people will get a run and go up high or low depending on who they're drafting with, if they've got help or not, and everything else. So track conditions out there should be, I know there's some marbles out there. I can see quite a bit of dust flying around, but how's our weather looking for the start of this race, FJ?
Well, taking a look at the information for today's race, obviously we're at Talladega. It's a super speedway. We got a 2.65 mile length track. Temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit with a 31% humidity, cloudy, and 8-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, 8-mile-an-hour winds. I think it's out of the northwest today or whatever. So, I mean, that could have a little bit of impact on fuel mileage, just depending on where, if it's a headwind or not. Yeah, pretty cloudy day out there. So cooler track than normal for deep in the south here. So I don't know how that's going to play out as far as like grip and handling or whatever on the long runs, but I guess we'll find out.
For sure. With it being a colder track, you're going to see slightly higher speeds. You're going to see people. I don't know if it was in a recent update or what was going on, because I know I was seeing in officials, because the officials are also at Talladega. All 3 cars, the trucks, the Xfinity cars, and these next gens have been. I've seen a few cars actually get loose on the entry of the corner. Surprisingly, I know I've seen one where he tried to give a bump and he turned the wheel just a little too much, and the back end got up from under him. So it'll be interesting seeing how these guys can push and if they know when to push.
Yep, and gals as well. And speaking of, we have Lindsay Lyles here with us, the other female in the league in the race today, along with me. She's going to be driving the number 10 car in place of Jonas Gunnarsson, who's out with the flu today. We hope he'll get better soon. Our thoughts and wishes are with him. Lindsay, how are you and how have you been?
I'm doing good. Just dealing with a bit of a knee injury, so I haven't been driving as much as normal.
I hear you. Well, at least Talladega, there's not really any kind of physical attributes necessary to do good here. It's really just, hopefully your leg will get some rest and more than anything else here. Any game plan strategies? I know you can't really release too many details until after the race, but SHR, are you guys working together to get something going for today's race?
I haven't really talked to too many of those guys yet, but after that Xfinity race, I tried to race at the front, and that didn't go so well. So I might try to stay in the back for a little while this race.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I'm thinking there's 2 different strategies I've got, and like Dave Moody says on NASCAR radio, 100 different strategies thrown at you, none of them work. So at the end of the day, it's just all about dodging the big wrecks and trying not to get killed out there. So, but it's definitely great having you back for this race, and hopefully give you a chance to race more and more in the league as time goes on. Do you think you're going to have something for him by the end of the race? Do you predict the top 5? What are you shooting for exactly? I mean, obviously you're not running for a championship, so what is your end goal here? A dub?
Yeah. Well, if I can be there at the end, anything's possible. So that's the goal. I'll try to be in the top 10 come last 10 laps of the race, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, it's good talking to you, Lindsay. We'll let you get back to your team chat, and good luck to you out there. And I'll be trying to draft with you out there at some point, I'm sure.
All right, sounds like
All
a plan.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we got some point standings to look at before it gets too late. I know we wanted to try to drag some more people up into the broadcast booth, but we'll have plenty of time to do that during qualifying, since it will be a 10-minute qualifying tonight instead of just a 5, because Talladega is so huge. To get 4 laps in, it's going to take quite a while. FJ, what do you got for point standings tonight?
So, looking at the point standing, obviously your leader is Jonas Gunnarsson. He's out for today's race, but he has a big enough gap to take a week off.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just 1, 2. I'm pretty sure. Jalen Battle.
We wish him well, but don't hurry back.
Get your legs up. Get your legs up.
Relax.
Enjoy your time and watch these guys wreck. Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it, man.
Dan Battle's sitting in second. I mean, he had a rough start to the season. He's working his way back up. And the other, like right behind him, is Kiko Garcia. Both of them, we've seen them involved in incidences throughout the weeks. This track, unpredictable. It's all about whether you're in the right position at the right time, knowing when to make a move, taking advantage of the draft, setting people up to make the moves. It's going to be interesting to see some of these guys, because some of these drivers are really aggressive. They make some really aggressive moves. And at a super speedway, it's okay to be super aggressive, but you got to be able to manage with the people around you, and that's where I could see some of the issues coming around. But it should definitely be interesting seeing Jalen and Kiko out there. Charles Roberson is another aggressive driver who's really fun to race with, and some guys that have kind of sneaked their way up the standings, and I've pointed out since the beginning of the season. You got Angel Hernandez in 5th, Steven Sear in 6th, and Derek Cook in 7th. Steven, I have seen him finish good. I believe he got top 3. It was at I can't remember which track, but he's gotten the top 3 and he was able to perform really well. Derek Cook has always been in either the top 5 or the top 10 in multiple weeks. So it's really good to see them actually having success and showing it on the standings. So I look forward to seeing them as the playoffs are approaching. I know your favorite driver is up here, Mr. James Bowles, in the 48.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So happy about that. Mm-hmm.
Now, one driver that could really take advantage of this weekend, I think you're going to agree with me here, is that 54 Brian Chu. I call him Mr. Speedway, Super Speedway.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's won a lot of races at ISNF, and most of them are at other tracks. I mean, yeah, he does have a lot of super speedway wins, but he's not like he's actually way more well-rounded than you would think. He's, like a Ross Chastain. He could win on a road course. He could win at a short track. He could win at a super speedway. He's very versatile with his skill. Just he can pack them in the suitcase and leave them at the door for this race because, anything can happen. So he just gets lucky a lot more than some of us because he finds a way to draft with the right guys and stay away from some of the guys that are known to cause issues in the middle of the race. And sometimes you can't see those guys that you want to stay away from up ahead, and you get wrapped up in their mess. But Brian is a great driver, and I'm not trying to discount that at all. And I would be looking for the 54 car to be up front, but I'm also looking for it to possibly get wrecked too, because it's going to happen to everybody. But it's been a good season for Brian overall. He's been cranking out a lot of top 10s this year and stuff. He's definitely going to make the playoffs in my opinion. But speaking of playoffs, I know you have some playoff points to kind of look at, see who's won the most stages. Stages tonight will be on laps 25 and 50 for you guys to know. 25 and 50 as qualifying's getting ready to launch, by the way.
Yes, it is. And I do not understand why SDK does this, but anytime it switches over, it freezes the standings. Like if you're gonna switch over to another graphic.
Yeah, Tony Trapasso and every broadcaster deals with this, and I know that there's a simple way of doing, like closing it out, and I can't remember what I did. She might just have to restart SDK.
Yes, I'm currently in the process. I put on the be right back screen as I get this real quick for the viewers at home. So give me one quick second, everybody.
Yeah.
And
No.
Yeah, we're good to go.
I know a notable driver I don't currently is the number 7 car driven by Derek Cook. He did not RSVP this week, and I haven't heard anything from him. He did sadly lose his mother a couple weeks ago, so he might be still dealing with that. And our hearts continue to go out with Derek and his family. So that's the somber note. However, there's a happy note. Happy birthday, Mr. FJ. 24 years of age. So congratulations on making it another year around the.
Thank you. That means it's another year for me to win some races on here.
Yeah.
Starting to get a little old now.
Oh yeah.
My reflexes are fading.
Well, I can't wait for so wait a second. So this is the year 23. You're currently 24, but when we get into next year, it'll be the year 24 and you'll be 24. And that'll make Mr. Chris Van Maastricht extremely happy because he loves the 24 as a number, as the car number, the whole 9 yards. So you'll have to make sure to race the 24 car in the league at some point too.
But that's occupied by Mr. Jalen Battle.
I know, but I'm sure Jalen's going to have to miss a race once in a while. I mean, sure he's got stuff to do sometimes, but anyway. So, Tommy, you're going to try and grab an interviewee at the end of qualifying here before we start on the grid?
Yes, I am. I actually am going to try to bring up Brian right now.
All right. I'm sure he's focused on trying to get some hot laps in, but
As he does that, we have a few viewers, Joe Gralva, saying, okay, let's do this. Go Army. And Rodrigo Nova saying hello.
yeah, I think Rodrigo is possibly, I think that is Roberto Moda's friend, if I'm not mistaken. I know we have a lot of countries represented in here tonight. FJ, would you like to go over those? We have, like seven countries?
We got USA, Canada, Mexico, Belgium, Portugal, Spain, Hungary, and Sweden.
Yeah. Very well diverse field we have here. Sounds to me like we might have some Toyota company in the booth. Or we did. Is that Mr. Toyota?
That it is.
Mr. Brian G, you got a copy? He is blinking on
Yep.
track.
I am here.
He's running off a mobile hotspot, is why.
Alrighty, Brian. Well,
Yeah.
you know you're my favorite.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
Yeah.
Well, you know you're my favorite driver, so I'm picking
Okay.
you for the race. So, what's your strategy going to be looking like? You going to be towards the front or you going to be towards the back? Just playing it safe.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Rhea just said, I'm running off a hotspot. I'm in my camper for a couple more weeks. So, unfortunately, with so many cars, I think this is going to be a big problem. I'm just hoping to not blink out. So I 100% will be in the back to start the race. The races I've done with the blinking issue, it's gone away after a while just because we've had less cars. And, you know, I've tried to put all my details low and all that in graphics, but it's just not getting good service. So to answer your question, I am going to be in the back for the first part of the race. If I can get good service toward the end of the race, I will try to make a run to the front. I'm pretty confident on these plate tracks. But right now my biggest concern is the internet.
Fair enough, and I look forward to it because I know once being a member of your JGR camp, that team works really well together. The cars they hook up and they're able to work wonders with one another. So hopefully your internet gets fixed so you all can really put on a show for us.
Yeah, I mean, me and Charles have been really working good together. He's been on the season he's been on the team the whole season. So, you know, we do pretty well. The other guys we've had in and out on the cars, but they're all on board to do the same strategies that we've kind of done in the past when you were on my team. And I think if we can all stay out of trouble, we can make it work. But that's the key is we can all stay out of the big wrecks,
Fair enough, and I know with these cars, all the runs that people get, it's sometimes people will underestimate and think they have enough room to either clear themselves, and away they go, and there goes half the field into the wall. So we
Yeah, I think fortunately for me, I've been in the league long enough. I kind of know who the drivers are that might do that. So I almost see it coming before it actually happens, and I back out if I have to. The runs are huge. I try to stay in line as much as possible with my team instead of doing that because basically that line will stall out. I do think that the top side is the place to be tonight. So when we're going racing for the win, you'll probably see us up there to try to make a couple moves, and we'll just see what happens. Hopefully, the internet stays together and our other guys stay out of the wrecks, and we'll see where we are at the end.
Nothing but luck. That's the name of the race, Brian. Nothing but 100%, nothing but luck or whatever. 250 here at Talladega.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And,
I must go. I got to play the lottery since I finished top 10 of these plate tracks all the time. So
yeah.
I guess whenever I do these plate tracks, I need to go get a lotto tickets since I'm all lucky all the time.
Well,
We'll
I mean,
see.
Denny Hamlin's been pretty lucky a lot too, but good luck out there.
That's my man. That's my man. Yeah.
Good luck out there. You're going to need it because that's all it is out there. No skill. So enjoy the race, my friend, and we'll see you out there pretty soon.
All right, Rhea. Yeah, we'll see you out there.
All right. That was Mr. Chu, driver of the number 54 Ty Gibbs machine for Joe Gibbs Racing here in the ISNF Next Gen Cup Series. He's definitely going to be a favorite. Are any of you picking him to win? Did you say you were picking him, FJ?
I'm going to go with him, even though he's having internet issues. He's still going to be my pick. He always manages to be there some way or another. I have no idea how.
All right. My pick is going to be, it's going to be a first-time winner in ISNF, the Cup Series anyway. And it's going to be Mr. Kiko Garcia, driving the number 47. It's not even going to be a teammate of mine. In fact, it's not even going to be a Ford. How am I going against that? I just think that he's going to be rolling a dice out there, and it's going to end up landing on the correct Kino number, and 47 is going to be it, and he's going to grab it. He's having a great season, and he's going to back it up with a dub here tonight. What do you think, Tommy?
I mean, that is a very, very good pick. I kind of am having a hard time going against Angel. Loves these tracks, but I definitely am going to pick Davey Henricks. Driving that number 19.
Yep.
Davey is very, very smart super speedway driver. So I'm going to have to give it to him.
I mean, that's an interesting pick. I mean, he doesn't race in the league that much, but he is a good driver. But he doesn't really, I don't know if he's going to know who to stay away from or who to go with in the draft. So if he does win it, it'll be very interesting to see. But nonetheless, I mean, we'll have to see where all these guys are. I know Davey's driving in place of Franz tonight. Franz out there doing a charity broadcast as we speak. So a nice little hello to him. as it looks like the starting grid is officially up here. As the drivers' meeting is going on, Chris and Steve are going to be leading that tonight while I can have a shot at getting the starting grid. Are you ready to go, FJ?
Yes, I am. It is up and ready to present.
Awesome. Jackson Carr with the pole tonight for Richard Childress Racing. So nice job there with a 52.90 to start the day. Mr. Danny Solo will roll off in P2 on the outside. And then we got an all Swedish second row. We got Jonas Skoglund and Linus Brostrom third and fourth. We got Daniel Holmer starting P5 and that Team Penske 22, and Isaac Wilson to his outside in the 43 machine. Lindsay Lyles will start P7 in the 10 car, and Cody McCorkle will start P8 in the 45 Toyota. Chris Van Maastricht will start P9 in the 17 car for RFK Racing, and Charles Roberson to his outside in the 20 car. Joe Grijalva, last week's winner at Indianapolis, he'll start P11, followed by Kiko Garcia, my pick, will start P12. And then we have, if I can roll it on, here we go. We got Jalen Battle and Angel Hernandez make up row number 7. Michael Hagstrom out of Sweden and Matty Maniak in the next row, 15 and 16. And then with the Christian Delgado start P17. Had a really good run last week. I think he finished in the top 5 as well. Christian Delgado and Mike Iskandar, 17th and 18th. Rosa Laszlo out of Hungary will start P19, and Steven Sear P20. FJ and Tommy, I'm going to go ahead and hop on out. You guys go ahead and handle the rest of it.
Roger that. So, we got Eugene Thornton in the 21 starting 21st. We have Tristan Rivers in the 36 starting 22nd. Davey Hendricks, which is Tommy's pick, in the 19 starting 23rd. Rhea Ferris, league owner, in the 12 starting 24th. Tommy Stanley, you're doing a start in park in 25th. Peter Thoralt, we haven't seen him in a while, I believe, in the 67 starting 26th. Jeff Weimer in the 2, who's had a few solid races, starting 27th. James Bowles in the 48 starting 28th. George Kovacic in the 11th starting 29th. Joshua Grasso in the 38 starting 30th. Shane Griffin in the 91 starting 31st. Brian Chu, Mr. Superspeedway, doing what he was saying, is starting in the back in the 54 starting 32nd. Jake Grout in the 13 starting 33rd. Joey Maines in the 42, who had, I believe, a solid race last week, in the 42 starting 34th. Johnny Castle in the 34 starting 35th. Roberto Moda in the 23 starting 36th. Zach Phillips Sr. in the 31 starting 37th. Casey Tomlinson in the 3 starting 38th. And Bob Wyckoff in the 78 starting 39th. And that is your all's grid for today's race. 100 laps of super speedway, tight racing, action-packed. I look forward to it. As I approach turn number 3. As these guys should probably try and get... Ooh, I saw somebody on the wall. Oh, who was that?
I don't think anyone's in the wall. I know there's a couple people having a little bit of blinking issues right now.
That's what I'm thinking, as it showed everybody was giving me issues. As remember, the start finish line for this race is past the trioval, as the green flag is out. Jackson Carr leading him to the green flag, and away we go. 100 amazing laps on their way. Side by side, the draft will be the biggest thing, and how well you could work with one another. I will say that 43 of Isaac Wilson is a really nice paint scheme on there. As you see people ducking below the yellow line. Some people trying to just fall back while others trying to make a pass, but I believe there is a yellow line rule. As you see the 41 on the outside. Ooh, the 20 seems to be blinking for me. Right now, I will say a lot of these drivers, there's gaps between them. They can't seem to get connected. But I don't know if they're holding back, which is more than likely what they are doing, because that's what I would do. But Danny Solo, your current leader in the 4. Casey Tomlinson jumped to pits. Not sure what happened to him.
He had a black flag from, was it last week? The week prior, not last week. It was, I want to say the week prior.
Interesting. Ooh, as the 4 got a little bit of a bad bump right there. Gotta be a little careful with that. A 16 all over his rear bumper. Now, one thing I've heard about these cars, and correct me if I'm wrong, bumping is not faster. It's more of if you can maintain that gap between the 2 cars, you can actually go a lot faster than bumping them. As we're seeing the cars below the yellow line, this is risky right here. I'm not gonna lie.
So yes, if we can get that gap in between drivers, it definitely is a lot quicker that way. Now I will say which is a big if, you do get a bump, as long as you can maintain it, you should be good.
Oh, there's contact between the 8 and the 41. Wreck. Massive wreck. Caution is out. Lap 4. That all started with the leaders. Now, I believe they do have a fast repair. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They do.
Well, that is lucky on their part, but man, what happened here? You got the 41 on the 8.
Looks like the 41 was trying to go around the outside.
It looks like he was trying to go outside and make contact with that right rear. And to be honest, these cars, once you get to their side, they kind of suction onto one another.
That is very true.
But I think that tap to the right rear upset that 8 car into him. See.
And we do have 5 people that are meatballed.
Yeah. There were some massive hits. So going back, let's go back to chopper view. I believe it was the 24 that got caught up in that. See what he saw from his point of view. If I could find the 24, there you go. Yikes, that was a lot of cars got minor damage, but at a super speedway, aero plays a big factor.
This is very, very true.
Ooh, Isaac got a hard hit too.
He did. Hate to see it. Really like that paint scheme. Really, he was almost my pick. But can we just talk about the top 2 drivers right now?
Lindsay Lyles. Well, that's what's actually clicking on right now. Is if you look at Rhea, I think she kind of neck coded through that in a good way because the 24 hits her, but it does not affect her car anyway. So. Interesting. Now, here's the thing. All these drivers that got involved in this wreck, they gotta be thinking one thing. I have to make it 94 laps without a fast repair.
Yes.
Mind you, we still have, if we have green flag pit stops, one of the most dangerous things for some of these drivers.
This is very, very true. Now, I will say there was a little mix-up. If you could refresh trading paints, looks like Angel had a different number on, but he is in the right number now.
All right.
And with this caution being out early, I'm going to go out and get my laps in before I...
You know what? Since we're under caution, this is a perfect time to ask a question. And this question has brought on so much conversation. I would be interested to hear from the chat. Does Superspeedway racing take skill?
Yes.
I'm going to go
100%
with
yes.
As for chat, let me know what you think.
Now, does it take a lot of skill? Not necessarily.
Well, I think it's a different set of skill set because the thing is, you definitely need luck on your side. There's no doubt about it. But to be there in contention, you need to have the skill.
Either a skill or at least the smarts to know if a line's moving and the drivers that are in that line, like what line do I stay with? Like, do I go to the high side, go to the low side?
So chat, let us know what you think. Does it require skill? Yes or no?
I almost forgot how to downshift in these cars.
Now, what tracks do you enjoy more? Super speedways or mile and a halves?
I mean, to be fair, I like super speedways, but bigger tracks are definitely Chicagoland.
That outside line did not get going whatsoever.
The inside line checked up majorly.
It was actually the outside. Kobe saying the Dega winner is going to be Bowles. Peter Thoreau on his way up, as he's up 22 spots from where he started. Wow. Talk about a big mover and quick. Ooh, Rhea Fair is looking to make moves already. And she's got Lindsay Lyles right behind her to work with her. Kobe saying Chicagoland, Vegas, and Charlotte are his favorite tracks. Oh, as Rhea gets put into the wall. I'm more concerned Rhea has that. Yep, yep. Her right front, I'm guaranteeing you she broke that right front.
Yeah.
Now let's go back, because I think I had seen it a couple times, but I wasn't sure if Lindsay was trying to make a move or if she was just exiting wide. I'm gonna go into her point of view and I want to take a look at this. Okay, so Lindsay, I'm pretty sure she didn't want to make the move. I think she just, on exit, she goes towards the wall. Because you could hear her burp the throttle to kind of like fall back in line, but it wasn't enough. And puts...
Which I will say, I feel like is going to happen a lot more in this race. Just for the simple fact that you get such a run and nothing taken away from Lindsay. She, has raced many races, but if you don't race consistent in these cars, you may not know that since they updated them and keep updating them, they are very easy to get a run. And even just burping the throttle, it's not really going to do too much.
In all honesty, that's true, because I've seen it too often. Like with these cars, I've actually had to use the brake a little bit to really slow down before I run someone over when they check up.
I have too. In fact, Talladega week has not been going very kind to me.
For me, it was going all right, but I did lose 200 IR because of iRacing issues. I would try and load into a session. It'll give me an error. And then all of a sudden it said that I did not have the software downloaded, so I couldn't even withdraw from the session. So I lost another 80 right there without participating in the race.
97 for me. So, but altogether, I definitely have lost about 100 and something iRating just in 5 races. So
Rhea Fair is back out with a brand new car because she had a fast repair. So now she has to make it to the rest of the race without a fast repair. Lindsay Lyles, I believe, is in the same boat. Yeah, she has a brand new car as well.
Yes, so they both used it. So if anyone is keeping tabs on the broadcast, that is 6 people. So no, 7 people that have already used their fast repairs in the first 11 laps.
Let me see. Is there a way? Oh wow, there isn't. I wish there would be a thing in SDK to show the fast repair.
No, SDK does not have that, but Race Labs do, as long as you want to pay for it. Which it is not very expensive.
I
but
have it.
That actually, they do have a section in there that you can get. Also, there is another one that is a lot of broadcasters use. That's a free site that has a bunch of different options, and that is one of them as well.
Now, I will say this. To the people watching at home, feel free to hit the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. All of the support is greatly appreciated. And as for the league, it helps the league as well as it spreads. You know, the league gets more interest. They're always looking for drivers. Now, what's the fuel window here with 60% fuel? Is it 30, 35 if I'm not mistaken?
Well, let me jump in the car and shut it off so we don't get another blow up.
Too late.
20 some odd lap.
Oh wow, so that's a very small
I ran a
window.
couple laps. This is true. I ran a couple laps. And in the process of that, just in the short amount of laps I did, definitely went down a little bit.
Okay. Now, these cautions early will play a little bit of a factor. I don't think much. If I were people, I would start saving fuel to make it on 3 stops rather than 4 or 5. Because if you could go 25 laps, you can make it on 3. But if you're going to be short of 25, you got to watch out just a bit. As green flag is out, man, some of these guys are struggling with the restarts.
Yeah, I did notice that. The one thing I do want to say is you brought up the saving fuel. If you've already used your fast repair, I almost would just try to hang out in the back, maybe find a guy that you or lady that you don't draft with or don't really know very much, and just ride along.
That 41 is all over that 22's bumper. The 8 and the 41 are back to back. We saw what happened the last time.
This is true, and I mean, I will say, if anyone has a good chance to win a no talent race, it's gonna be Maddie.
Now, I will say this. Rhea brought up a good point during the pre-race. The bumping in corners. If you're a very good pusher, you can make it work, but you have to have so much trust in the guy in front of you.
See, I rather be the pusher. On all super speedways, I will never win a super speedway race ever in my life, just because I rather push a person to the win. I still do not bump in the corners, because in all reality, you're not getting any faster.
Now, I don't know if Jalen just got a massive run, but man, did he take it.
I want to say yes, because they did check up a little bit.
Ooh, the 16 dives right out in front of him. Jalen Battle, one of your former champions. He's an excellent racer, friend of mine. As you see him trying to make moves. Now, I will say, if you could get that third lane to run, it will most certainly work.
It will. Third lane is definitely the best lane. The problem is that second lane usually likes to weave up.
Well, I won't lie. Jalen just did a march with the 43 and 48 of Isaac Wilson and James Bowles. They just marched their way through on that outside as the 8's going to jump up and try to stall that line. Now, you see how much of a gap there is between these cars. You could definitely go about 4 or 5 wide here.
You can. Now, do you trust the people to do 4 wide?
Look at Jalen. He is pushing that 8 through the corner as the 13 jumps to the middle. Now they gotta be. Oh, they make contact. The 43 and the 41 into the wall. Looks like he didn't hit it too hard, so he shouldn't have a meatball. He should be fine. As for the 43 of Isaac Wilson, looks like he came away fairly clean from that. Taking a look back up front, Jackson Carr leading this race. I was about to point this out. The high line, I've seen a lot of the pro drivers run that line at certain tracks. Atlanta being one of them. If you get a really good, solid group of guys, you can make the high line really work. But I think in this track, I don't know. I kind of feel like the inside's the dominant line.
That is true.
That or the middle line.
That is very, very true. Now, I will say, in my opinion, as of right now, they are still way too aggressive. Still.
I
Early
will
on.
agree with you on that. Now, we're starting to see the field kind of thin out a little bit in regards to like the main group.
Fast repair, no fast repairs.
Now, another important thing to point out is the side draft with these cars. Notice how when the 16, and actually that's the 13, my apologies, and the 8 were battling, how much of a gap the leaders got. That side draft slows both of y'all down extremely. I want to say the first, if they come down pit road, it will be around, I'm going to say lap 30. Oh, well, no, a lot of drivers, I was surprised a lot of drivers came in on lap 5.
Yeah. I will say, Cody, the guy leading up here in that number 45, he, just finished 5th, I want to say Friday, in another league that he's in the ARCA cars. I want to say the Gen 4 Cup cars, actually, at Talladega. So he definitely has some decent practice. Of course, these cars are completely different.
Oh, the A got a little wiggly right there. Now these, I will say, they're pushing extremely aggressive.
That they are. I will say Jalen James and is Delgado? Yeah. When they were running that high side, they were running about a third of a car length higher than what Jackson Carr was driving. So I think coming off the corner was definitely hurting them. And as you see the 13 just give a huge shot to the 4.
Well, it's interesting to see how they're not really running that middle line. They're running the extremely high line. Me personally, I would cut it down and side draft that inside line a lot more. Especially down the straightaway. That 67 gave a shot to the 4 who slid up in front to lead that middle line. Ooh, but he went too high and left the door open.
But did he do that on purpose to be able to link back up with Linus?
Now, I have always said
Jake.
The
Jake
game
Grell,
plan,
sorry.
the game plan that I've always liked is being at the back of the first pack. How that runs. And the reason for that is you have the safety of there's nobody behind you, but at the same time you're separated from that second pack, which could be just fighting and losing time, which is we're seeing a lot. Seems like Isaac was able to find the pack and get with them. Yellow flag is out. I believe this is a stage.
As they're wrecking after the...
Go back and take a look at that.
It actually looks like that Delgado gave James a little bit bigger of a bump than he was expecting.
Ooh, that actually... Yeah, well, it got James wiggling, and then basically James just came across the 22's nose, and that's what really got him. Ooh, and the 8 took a little bit of a shot right there.
And so did Ria's pick, Kiko.
They should be fine. I don't think any of them have a meatball, correct?
No, none of them have a meatball. Now I will say it definitely would be a thing under caution. Just get all your damage fixed right now. And go from there. But since we're under this caution, would you like to bring up Mr. Delgado, since he was the one that we did not get to interview yet?
Yeah, let's bring him on up.
So I have found Mr. Delgado.
What's going on, guys?
Alrighty, sir. So we have seen, I believe this is our third caution. Now, What are your thoughts on the way everybody's been driving around you? Has it been super aggressive? Has there been a lot of give and take, or what's it looking like?
There's been a couple of aggressive drivers that are trying to, I think, just want the track position early, and they're trying to get up there and trying to stay up front. But I think there's been most of the time some give and take. I've been working with my teammates over at HMS with James and Jalen and Steven, and we've been trying to stay together and try to make something out of nothing. So, but I think right now, I think everybody's just trying to get a feel of who they can work with and who to stay away from. And but besides kind of some of the reckless mistakes that have happened for these cautions to come out, I think everybody's right now. It's like the calm before the storm, and just trying to figure out where you need to be, who you need to be working with, and everything else. So
Now, I know you all have a fast repair. Do you believe having a fast repair makes these drivers be more aggressive? As I think somebody just wrecked.
but as we're blinking out, I hopefully we can keep this keeping it and oh boy.
I saw someone.
Oh, we're DCing.
Unfortunately, Chris has dropped his salt packets.
Was that Chris that spun out?
That was. And he has lost his packets.
So we can get back in.
I
Well, I
believe
was
he
going to
can't hear
say you're
us.
having a great race.
Yeah, it usually doesn't do that a whole lot. I mean, I think that hasn't happened to me in a couple months, but maybe broadcaster's curse. I don't know. But
Okay, blame us.
I mean, hey, I'll take it.
hey, I'll say this is my first interview ever, so and this is what happens.
Well, the good thing,
But-
the good thing is it's a huge track. So if you're able to get back in, you might only be, I believe, 1 or 2 laps down at the most.
Yeah.
The other thing that's also good is based on the stage caution, there is a chance for you should be okay. Now, I do know with Talladega and some of these bigger tracks, it kind of takes a lot more, and sometimes the servers act up themselves because I mean we saw Brian. Well, Brian's on hotspot, but there was quite a few drivers blinking in and out, as we were pointing out.
I normally do not blink, so
Yeah.
if anything, we're gonna blame FJ. So it's okay. You'll get
There
back
you
in
go.
there. But
Yeah,
we'll let you get back in and get up on the track and hopefully get your laps back and put on a good race.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, guys.
Well, that was a first for us.
Very, very true on that one. So we are approaching lap 29. Let's say they could go about 25 laps. So 29, 54, 79. So they should be able to make it with 2 more stops. Especially if there's another well, with the caution, they should be able to save.
True.
I will say it's interesting to see. I want to see how this restart goes because restarts have been an issue for some of these drivers. As green flag is out. That inside line did not get going. Seems like everybody was able to get off the line pretty good. Oh, look at this. Angel Hernandez looking for the lead as he is currently in the lead by just a nose, but that 45 and the 20 are really hooked up and looking to make a move, as I think both of them are going to clear the 6 and jump down. Ooh, I think the 24 wanted to go down, but that 6 car was there. As the 24 is going to get left out to dry. So looking at the field, Thomas, who do you think is a good pusher and who is a good leader?
Who's the best pusher?
Yes.
Out of the field right now, I'm gonna say who I know, Isaac. Isaac is a really good pusher. Very good at pushing and getting up there. So,
And I believe Christian Delgado has still not been able to get back into the...
he came back in and then he lost it again, unfortunately.
Then it really does have to be a... it could be just his connection, to be honest, but if we see other cars blinking, I'm going to say it's a server. Now, Rhea Ferris is just hanging back at the very back of these packs. Very smart move on her part, I will say. I mean, that's my strategy. I know you and Mr. Kobe, who's in chat, tell me stuff about it all the time, being so conservative. The one thing I find odd, though, is how they're so far spread out. Like, usually in official races, you don't see these gaps. You see them nose to tail, side by side for every single lap of the race. Now, it could be that this is a longer race than official, so people just, like, take their time and there's no rush. As we went around the track with the lead pack, as we see the 24 and the 67 on the high side, looking to try to make it work and see if they could potentially push their way to the lead. I will say though, that 4 and the 16 are really hooked up, I will say that. But seems like the 67 and the 24 are really working well together, get side by side with them. As they should be able to clear them. 67 is going to dive down. 24, I believe, is going to stay up so he could stay with his teammate of the 5 of Stevens here. Now, this goes back to what we were talking about in regards to having teammates and the car manufacturers and knowing who would work with you and who won't comes in handy, especially at a track like this. Now, right behind them, you have the 10 and the 48 on the high line. If the 48 somehow manages to get past the 10, ooh, as the 5 got a little too much, got a little bit of a bad bump apparently. But if the 48 gets around the 10, you're going to have 1, 2, 3 on the outside line of Hendrick. Now, I see that 9 that's just right behind him, so they could potentially hook up and maybe run this race a little bit. Steven giving the 24 as big of a bump he can.
Now, I will say the only thing that I feel like is going to hurt the 9 car is he is not able to be in the same chat with Jalen, Steven, and James.
And the 9 being Rosa Laszlo, who is out of Hungary, Budapest, Hungary.
As the lead pack, it looks like it's going to catch Matty Moniak.
Now, does Matty, I believe Matty Moniak should have gotten his damage fixed.
He pitted again. He had a little issue on the backstretch on that restart.
So it really has not been his race today.
The first one, understandable. Second one, his own doing. Letting his car help out with some issues.
By the way, look at that outside line. Hendrick has gotten hooked up 1, 2, and 3 on the outside line.
They are definitely Joe Gibbon it.
Now, I think the perfect lineup for them is if it was as caution is out. Ooh, wreck. Casey Thomason? Oh, yep. Yep, he got hooked by the 13. How did the 13 fall back?
That I have no idea.
Yeah, 13 gave him a shot, and then looks his outside. But that run, always going back to that run. Underestimates the run and just hooks him into the wall. Casey, I'm not sure if he's used his 1 faster power already, but he's going to need it now, I'm more than certain.
I want to say he hasn't.
So we saw some takers go down pit road. Others staying out. I believe the stage caution comes out at lap 50. So if that's the case, I bet you these drivers are going to hold on, hit at lap 50, and try to stretch it out to the end of their fuel run to make sure they can make it with just one stop. As for people who pit earlier, if they decide to stay out, they're going to be stretching it even more. As we're approaching, actually we're on lap 40, getting closer to that halfway mark at Talladega, one of the fastest tracks. And some, I know a lot of actual NASCAR drivers and things like that actually say that Talladega is one of the scariest and most dangerous tracks for them. Lights on the pace car are out. 16 and the 4 are going to be on the front row for this restart. Thomas, what's one thing you look forward to with this restart?
Sorry about that. Had to do some admin duties.
He just DQ'd half the field. That would have been amazing if next thing I see is just
EQ everyone besides Steven, Lindsay, Joey, and we'll throw Jeff Weimer in there. See which one really is the fastest.
I was saying how a lot of actual NASCAR drivers say Talladega is one of the most dangerous tracks they've ever been on.
I could see it.
You know, a lot of people would consider Daytona and Talladega to be a lot, like, very much the same. But when you drive on it, it's a totally different experience, to be honest.
That is very, very true. And I will say that if you've ever been to Talladega, so looking at it on TV, iRacing, of course, it does look large. But it is way bigger in person.
And I mean, like, even here on iRacing, you get that sense because you race Daytona and it's when you're 3 wide, you feel like you don't have an inch of room, but yet with Talladega, you can be 3 wide comfortably. As I will say, the 8 wasting no time to jump up to that 3rd lane. trying to get a run, and he's going to get a monster run off. Jackson car going all the way to the front. Him, the 67 and the 48, and I think even the 9 it might be able to clear him. And look who's there with them, the 12 of Rhea Ferris.
Yeah, Rhea. I mean, she gives the tracks crap. Oh, as they're wrecking. Oh, saved it.
One around the 13. Got it going again. No caution. Rhea Ferris jumped to the bottom as they go 3 wide. The 45 jumping to the middle. Oh, look at Rhea. Rhea just decided to go 3 wide clear and decide I'm leading this inside line. Oh, as that was
Rhea,
a tight
Rhea
squeeze.
does have a win under her belt at this track.
As I heard somebody in the... Man, we got cars in the wall here. Oh, it's the,
Oh, the
51.
51.
I believe he was reacting to the 5 who was in the wall. Now check to see if he has... That was a hard hit to that right front.
That is definitely meatballed.
Now I believe he should have a fast repair still.
I think so.
Man, he's gonna have to try and make it all the way around the track with that damage. But the good news for him is that stage caution should benefit him. '24 Jalen Battle weaving his way through the traffic, trying to see a gap and try to make some moves. Ooh, as he was gonna try and go middle. Oh, as the 10 and 8 are making contact. Careful, fellas. Oh, the 8 gets hit by the 16, gets into the 10. They are still green, still going. 3 wide. The 12 doored the 8. I won't lie, this is very exciting. Aggressive, but exciting. But you got to be wondering when that one mistake is going to happen. As a 10 gets left out in the middle. No help whatsoever. The 12 coming to the rescue. Never mind. Looks like Kevin Tomlinson was able to get his damage fixed from that earlier wreck and still out there.
Now, I do want to bring up, so you see Henrik working that outside, which is very fast line, but it comes with its disadvantages.
Well, one of them being you're burning more fuel because you're on the throttle a lot more. The second one being that you lose a lot of time on entry by running a high line. Now, yes, you carry the momentum, but I think the task should be to be right on the inside's right quarter panel and side drafting them.
This is true, but if they wreck, they're going to the high side.
That's a very good point as well. Ooh, as there's contact between the 12 and the 8. Kept it clean. Now I wonder if anybody's going to really push it to try and get those stage points. Now you see the 51 coming out of pit. He is the first car a lap down, which means he should get the lucky dog when the stage caution comes out.
Unless Maddie passes him before the stage, then yes.
He should
I do agree with you.
Yeah, he should be good. He's gotten into the group.
Yep, he's in the second little pack, led by Jeff Weimer. Rhea picked up some real good stage points right there.
I noticed that she was on the inside and made it work.
I will say, Lindsay's definitely putting that 10 car to good use right now. Now, here's the question I want to ask you. Okay, we're halfway through this race. We know some people do not have fast repairs. Out of the top 10, how many of those do you think will still be running on lap 100?
I'm gonna go with the crispy 20. I'm gonna go with 20.
I feel like 20 is a really good number because we still have 34 on the lead lap.
Everybody coming down pit road. Now they should be able to make it on one more stop. Like hands down, like it should not be a question. Oh, do we have a new leader?
I think we do.
And I believe it's the 12 car of Rhea Ferris.
That I do believe. Now, the weird thing is, the 51 did not get the lucky dog. when the caution came out. So I am wondering, did he have a little bit of contact when that caution was thrown?
Ooh, that is. Wow. Oh boy, that is actually very interesting. Me personally, I would at this point just hang back, save fuel, get ready for your last pit stop, and push it the last, I'd say, 15 to 20 laps.
See, everyone says that, and honestly, I am not one of those ones. I definitely think you should not push around 15, 20 laps. Main reason being is everyone else is going to push around at the same time, which is going to cause a lot of caution. I like to push, at least run decent, get up there around 5 to go, and then I'll start making some moves.
I would go 5 wide right when the green flag drops.
Oh, hands down, you got to 5 wide it. It's the only way to make it fun. Unfortunately, this league does have the cannot change lanes before start finish line rule.
That's never stopped me. You will always find a way.
I'll just wait till they pass the line and then I'll go 5 wide.
Rhea getting a really good start, as well as the 8. Everybody going to the high side. Wow, that inside line really disappeared.
Which I have noticed, it has disappeared in this race. Like, this is honestly the first time I've seen the top lane be the most consistent and the most dominant. And I
mean, look at Steven Sear running. Yeah, trying to run that third line, it looked like. Now, I will say, hopefully it gets a little sorted out where we can have an opportunity to green flag pit stops, because this track and the way this league is structured, it's built for strategy calls like this at tracks like this, where you have your teammates, you can make moves and potentially set yourself up to where if you're good at pushing and you have a solid group of maybe 3 or 4 cars, you can really control the race.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like stage racing has kind of taken that out. Not all the way per se, but definitely a decent amount out of strategy calls on plate tracks like this. I will say though, this has to be the first time that all 4 or all 3 of our picks are still in the race after halfway.
Broadcaster's curse
is over. It all got used up on Delgado because he still is struggling, unfortunately. Which I really hate to see it for him. He's been on a real good run lately. But he's only 18 down. Honestly, it could become a really bad race at some point, and he could get him back.
I feel like
I
he
hope
would
that
need
don't
to lose.
happen.
I mean,
to be fair, after Joe, so he only needs 19 cautions.
only.
Doable. It is doable. We don't want it, but it is doable. So, I am curious with how some of these drivers are bumping the others, of how much is their car overheating, or is it overheating? Is it running cooler? You know what I mean?
Let's ride along. Ah, it doesn't tell us the temps. Man. That's one thing I wish iRacing would kind of work on, is allowing us to see kind of the temperatures that they run at.
I agree with you on that one. That is one thing I wish.
But as long as you're not on the rear bumper, like right on it, you should be running, I'd say borderline, not too bad. So it shouldn't cause too much of an issue.
I will say, who has the best paint scheme out here? On track right now.
I honestly think I want to give it to Isaac.
Yeah, that's that's where I was going. I absolutely love that car. I do like the 15 of Michael driving that JJ Yaley car. Really like to see him in that car. And I want to say Michael actually painted that car. And also painted Joe's car.
Ooh, we got some 3-wide action going on with the 31. The 40. Oh, well, he got passed by the 42, the 15, and the 4.
But I will say Zach Phillips in that 31 Tide car is probably a close third, if not flip-flop for second with the 15.
Now we're seeing a lot of our drivers, especially some that were leading, drop back and decide to play it safe, like Rhea Ferris. She was leading, and she's now 22nd, just sitting back, enjoying the race, which is what I'd personally be doing right now, as it's got a long ways to go, especially at a track like this.
I honestly think she dropped back just to get back in front of Chris to pretty much be like, hey, I've led laps. Woo. As the 22 got sent. Will say Jalen and Steven both have dropped back as well. And a person we haven't talked about that started the race with a black flag or a drive-through penalty set in 22nd is that number 23 car, that Roberto Mota. Probably butchering his name. Francesco, help me out here.
Roberto Mota.
Oh, see, I was right. Look at that. First time for everything.
That's it.
Well, if that's how you pronounce it, that's how I am. Which that is a very, very good scheme as well. Running that Columbia scheme.
Seems like everybody's kind of just settling down and just running their race, not really pushing too hard.
Yeah. You know what? Why don't we should rock some different camera angles here. We got I'd start with entry and go down. Show off some of the action here.
Oh, we got a wreck happening.
Woo! Now I will say,
I saw 31 get involved in that.
same. But
I think that started with the 47. Yep. So it looks like
but if you want, go ahead.
Looks like the 47 went down, touched the 4. Oh, shot up the track into the 31. Oh, and collected up. Oh, that was some big hits. Any meatballs? I'm more certain there was.
There is 2. We have Castle and Grosso, unfortunately.
Oh, Grosso took a hard hit. Hitting the inside
Now
wall.
This is true. Now, I will say, if you want to go for a little ride, I would definitely go cockpit view with Jeff Weimer.
Take a look at the two. Here, we'll go to before the wreck and go in view. Oh yeah. So this is interesting. I don't think there's enough fuel to make it to the end from here.
There is not unless you do some major saving.
Now, if there's one or two cautions within the first 5 or 6 laps, it will be very interesting.
This is very true, but I feel like if there is a couple cautions, within that, definitely gonna have to battle, definitely gonna have to be saving earlier on. I will say, Delgado is only now 18 cautions away. Now, it is weird to see that Matty Moniak stayed out. To take over the lead. Oh, as Chad just said, Mr. Isaac Wilson is saying they are 4 gallons short.
Yeah, I believe it as you gotta.
I don't think you could say. I mean, I'm really good at saving fuel at super speedways and just in any races. I would not be able to save 4 gallons. You maybe could cut it down.
You could definitely save about. I think you could save about a gallon at most.
Gallon and a half, depending on how you were running. And depending on whether or not there was a car in front of you at all. As Josh is up talking with us now.
Josh wouldn't let. Did Josh have a fast repair or is he out for the race?
He used it on that first wreck. Unfortunately, got collected in that.
Ooh.
Not a race that Josh is looking forward to finishing. Gonna be down a little bit. I will say though, Josh is has Road America this week in another league. So I'm sure it's gonna be a nice fun race.
So you said Matty Moniak stayed out.
Yes.
Interesting. I wonder how good of a restart he'll be able to get. Because although the tires don't wear crazy,
They do wear, just not that bad. They make
guess
it
we'll
to where
find
you
out.
get loose coming out of the corner. I have noticed.
Yeah, I was mentioning that in the pre-race, how officials is the same thing. These cars are acting very interesting. Not just these, but the Xfinity and all of them in general. As green flag is out. Ooh, big. That'll be interesting to review.
Yeah. Fortunately, that is what I am doing right now.
Oh, 41 gets put on the wall. And I believe he turned back into the 67. No caution?
Never mind.
There is no caution. How in the world is that not a caution? I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people not happy that caution did not come out. While we watch, let's go back and take a look and see what happened there, because that was pretty bad. This all started with the Maddie. And let's take a look at Bryant. That was a massive wreck. I just can't believe there was no caution.
Unfortunately, below the yellow line.
That's
As
I don't know how these
they
guys
are
kept it
wrecking.
straight either. Well, I bet you anybody that was involved in the last wreck is grateful for that one. Oh, that was Oh, that was a hard hit.
Yep, Davey unfortunately popped him a little too hard, it looked like.
Ooh, what happened with Zach Phillips? There's a lot to unwind. I went back and watched the replay, and it all started with the 41 getting put into the wall, and then
Did he get put into the wall though?
here we'll take a look right here because I want to see what happened because that was bad.
Because I've looked at the cockpit view and a couple other things, but
So you got the 67 that goes up, 41 tries to follow him, hooks himself, and then he comes back down the track. I went into his cockpit point of view as well. Chat, let me know what you all think on this. Because, I mean, that contact right there, well, that's a racing deal. This after though. To me, that's a little. It was an overreaction. That was way overreaction. All right, let's see. I just want to view from this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So it does look like that Maddie wants to get brought up. Let's bring him on up. You good with that?
That is up to you on that one.
All right. We got to stir the pot somehow. Mr. Moniac, got a copy?
I do.
Holy smokes, that was loud. Let's see here.
Now, I have a question. Are you having an issue with this track because you have too much skill for it?
Always Rhea likes to say you don't need any skill, and it's showing today with all the wrecks that are happening.
Now, I will say your teammates are doing pretty good, too.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good start to the race earlier. I know I got tangled up with the 8. It was just kind of, I don't know if it was just suction, basically, on how some of these cars pull together. But I know the 8 and I talked, and, nothing was intentional. Kind of going back on this last restart here, I was hoping that we had another lap. I didn't want to get tangled up on pit road, and stayed out planning on pitting on that second lap, figuring cars were down. Didn't get that chance. Ended up having to line up second. I started getting pile driven by the 67 on the restart. Ended up catching a black flag for passing the leader because he kept slamming me. And then I just got hooked right up into the wall. I tried turning my wheel to the left, trying to avoid the wall, and it was all over from there.
Yep, I actually was in the middle of reviewing your black flag and gonna clear it whenever FJ said you guys were wrecking, unfortunately.
I think the bigger surprise is the fact that there was no caution, because that was a massive pile up. Now, granted, everybody was below the yellow line, but holy smokes. There was cars all over the place on that one.
Yeah, I mean,
That there was.
Last thing I want to do is take out, millions of cars, but I mean, man, when you get turned right into that wall, I was trying to do everything I could to try to keep out of my nose off of it.
Yeah, I'd seen the first wreck. I had said the same thing as you when you made that move to the outside. I know these cars, whenever you start to side draft them, they start to section together and kind of pull the car right.
It just I don't know what it is. It seems like the fenders really suck together, but the nose does not. Like it's like you have got a balloon on the front of your car. You can try to get as close to that car as you can, but as soon as you go to get around them, it just sucks you right into them. It sucks.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I've had it happen to me in official where you're running and then a car's trying to pass you, and all of a sudden you feel the car go right, and you turn left, and it just feels like the car doesn't want to turn. It just wants to go right. And I mean, sometimes you get hooked, and then sometimes you're the one hooking, and it's like there ain't much I can do when I'm battling my own car because of the air.
Oh yeah, and then the amount of damage, are already been down pit road for required, just trying to limp whatever we can to the end here. But we'll see. Hopefully we can try to keep the car clean for the rest of the race.
Alrighty, Maddie, we'll go ahead and put you back down with the team as we're about to go green once again with 25 laps to go once they cross the line. And green flag is out. Wow. Rhea got a really good start compared to the rest of the field. Now, here's the thing. You want to get a good start majority of the time, but here, when you get such a big lead, the only thing I can say is expect to get swallowed by the swarm that's behind you. As that's exactly what happened with Rhea right here. The outside line be able to carry that momentum as much as they can. Everybody kind of filing in. Slowly getting to the end of these this race.
As we have a wreck, no caution. Mr. James Bowles.
Looks like he kept it straight. Let's go ahead and rewind here. Take a look and see what happened with him.
Looks like
Oh,
Zach Phillips got a little too aggressive. I don't know if it's I don't know if I want to call that aggressive or not.
I think it's just a bad bump. James Bowles having to jump to pit. That was a hard hit, though.
Now, I will say the downside is I think James has already used his fast repair.
I want to say so. I could be mistaken, but either way, he's going to have to be in pit road for that tow, and that's going to cost him.
Yeah, that's like a 5-hour tow at Talladega.
Now, here's the thing. So, the field has kind of thinned out. We have...
Which we expected.
A lot less cars. I really think we might not see a caution until probably, I'm going to say 8 to 7 to go. But... I want to say with the cautions we had, they might be able to make it, but they would have to be saving the entire time.
I don't know if they still would be able to. I will say Danny has dropped out of the race, unfortunately. Well, he's coming back in.
I'm thinking that might have been a connection issue.
Yep, which... There has been quite a few connection issues so far in this race, so...
Casey Tomlinson coming in a pit road. I wonder if this is a strategy call for him, but I would wonder why he would come in under green. Unless he had damage.
I think him and Steve might have gotten into each other. Because Steve is very slow on the backstretch here.
Well, right now, if the caution comes out right now, everybody will be... I guarantee you everybody's going to come down pit road, get their fuel, and they'll be good to go. Man, the runs that these cars get is absolutely insane.
This is true. Now, I don't want to be someone like that, but he was leading just a minute ago until the run on the outside hit.
Davey
Now
Hendricks.
he's skipped my driver, and
Oh.
unfortunately, Kiko. Oh, and they're still piling in.
That was the two of Jeff Weimer. What happened there?
It looked like Rio went up to pick him up. He tried to follow, didn't clear the. Was that the 23 quite? Unfortunately, collected Lindsay.
Now there was a who was that piled in there? Holy. No, that wasn't 47 had nowhere to go. It was a 31.
Yep, it was Zach. Just kind of pile driven himself in there.
Let me see what he saw from his point of view. I don't think he was on. He let off, but he wasn't on the brakes. I don't think.
True. Now, I will say the one person.
Now, did Jeff Weimer still have a faster pair, or is he?
I want to say yes, he does. And I know, I want to say the 9 does as well. Now, the one thing I will say, Lindsay was having a very good race up until then.
Well, and I don't think she has a faster pair because she was involved in that first wreck with Rhea. Her car's banged up too. Oh, watch it, fellas. Oh. She was having issues on pit road too.
Yeah, her car's broken. Quite decently. Hate to see it, unfortunately. Oh no, Lindsay does not have that quick fix.
Yeah.
Because of her and Rhea getting into it a little bit.
Now, I'm not sure what happened with Linus and them, but they fell back.
That I do not know.
The other person who kind of fell back as well was the 12 of Rhea Ferris.
This is true.
Now, one person that is back on the lead lap, I believe, is Casey Tomlinson.
Unfortunately, he will.
Nah, I really wish Casey would be a little more aggressive because we've seen him at weeks where he's just been playing it safe. Jeff Weimer going. Not too sure what that's about. He blew an engine.
Who?
Jeff. He's on the backstretch unless he's waiting on for people to. Oh, okay. It might have been he was waiting on people to pass him. He's going very slow, and I was wondering if something had happened, but now he's good to go.
He actually slowed up. For some reason, iRacing has been a little wonky right now. It was telling him that he passed the pace car coming out of pits. So he was slowing down. He wanted to get that checked before he went back around.
Fair enough. Better safe than sorry.
This is true. Now, I will say I'm not a huge fan of Joe Gibbs Racing at all. But they have the 11, the 19, the 20, the 23, and the 45 all in the top 7.
Brian had a faster pair because his car looks brand new. Now he needs to get back on the lead lap, so he needs at least a caution.
Yes.
As they're getting ready to go green, bring him to 15 laps to go. It'll be interesting to see as who starts pushing and who starts kind of surviving at this point. To getting a good run, but I always mention how if you get a far lead entering turn 1, oh, did somebody? Shane Griffin is turned around. Still green. And we're seeing how aggressive people are going to start being 3 wide. Ooh, that 21. I thought he was going to hook that 16 for a second.
Nope, just listening to the comms. The 21 is just trying to play it safe right now. I mean, he's just trying to. He's been on kind of a little hot streak lately, so he's trying to get up there. But I will say, you have the 20, the 19. The 23 all line and the 11 all lined up, and the 45.
Well, another thing I'm seeing is look who's out there too. The 48 of James Bowles. He could really use a caution or two. Ooh,
he could use quite a bit of cautions.
You know, it would really be interesting to see a race here at night. If only you had lights.
This is very, very true. I feel like Talladega at night would probably be one of those races that would be extremely good to watch. As you see, Joe Gibbs and 2311 fighting, so they're not just going to give it up. And you also see Danny solo, 3 laps down, helping Linus out as they are 3 wide in the back.
All the action happening right here in the middle as they're 3 wide, spread out a little bit, but you gotta imagine, you gotta start pushing at some point here. .24 looking in the middle. Ooh, as a 13 really drifted up there. Ooh, that 67 nearly drifted up into that 13. 4 wide. They are 4 wide for a second there.
14 in the wall.
Oh. Yep, I saw that coming. The 6 kind of reacted late to it because he had nowhere to go.
Well, the downside is he definitely didn't see it until it was too late.
Yeah.
And then he tried to slow up, but also tried to just get into him, where Isaac would not really get involved too bad. So
the 6 damage should be minor. The 5, I know he got involved in a wreck earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the 5 took some damage, and so did the 14. Well, this is gonna be interesting. You know who's happy about that? Joey Baines. Or Brian Chu, depending on who's getting the lucky dollar.
it should be Joey, maybe, but I could be wrong. Now, just going through the field right now, or at least I'm going through the field, looking at everyone's cars, just to see
There's quite a good amount of clean cars, to be honest. One driver we haven't talked about at all, but has been clean, is the 17.
he got involved in that one wreck with Moniac.
Now,
It
here's a
only
good.
looks like Chris is the only lead lap car with damage.
Now, preference. Do you prefer to be on the outside or the inside at this restart? As the lights are off, they're going to be going green with 6 to go. I guarantee you we're going to see some aggressive moves being made. And I have a feeling we're not done with the wrecks. So 7 laps to go, 6 to go once the green flag drops. Got a lot of aggressive drivers up here in the front, eager for a chance.
So how are our picks looking?
I believe mine is wrecked, which was 54. Yours is.
I wouldn't say
in fourth.
wrecked. He's only 1 lap down.
He is in
Mine is
lucky die
set in
position.
4th. Unfortunately, Rhea has cursed her driver Kiko to being 11 laps down right now.
So they're getting ready to take the green flag. I am really interested in seeing how this goes because it's gonna be aggressive, hands down.
This
16 gets a
is
good
very
start.
true. And I do want to point out, Moniak and Jackson Carr are all 1 point away from DQing.
Oh wow.
Isaac is unfortunately 2 away now because of that little incident with Angel in the 14.
We see Jalen in the middle gonna try and make a pass. Ooh, Jackson Carr trying to shut the door on him.
Trying to see if it comes down to Jack's car being real close to that 21X. Like, how hard is he going to push it?
Now, I'm seeing some aggressive moves back here. Everybody keeping it clean though. Let's go back to the front where the action is. Peter Thorell taking the lead. Jalen Battle and the 8 of Jackson Carr all working together. They should be able to clean Charles. And he does. Charles slips up its front. I think he kind of...
Oh, he left Davey out to dry. You know what? Just for that, Charles, I hope you don't win.
Oh, there's a wreck. The 2 of Jeff Weimer. Caution is out once again. I believe this should take us to a green white checkered.
Yes. Yes, it will. So,
What happened here though? Let's see.
he went low.
Ooh, the
They
40,
checked
14.
up.
I think the
He
50
went back
hook.
up. Oh, the 51 took out the 51, slammed into the 14, turned the 14 into the 2. The best view of the whole thing was Danny.
Yeah, I think the
definitely
14 checked up for Davey and
Davey. Unfortunately, Maddie has been DQ'd. Carr, Delgado, and Castle are all now 1x away. Now, here's my question. Jackson's sitting at that 20x right now. How hard is he going to want to get bump drafted?
oh, that's an interesting thing because if you check up 2 and you get
And
hit
you get
hard
a
enough,
yeah. And I will say your
Brian
boy's
Chu.
got his lap back.
You got a full send at this point because this is a green white checker. It's how many attempts do you have? 3, right?
2. Might be 3, not 100% sure, but I will say Brian almost has the best thing of this. They could wad them all up. And he could squeak by, take the win.
I will say Jalen set himself up a good position. Rhea is in 6th place. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this race plays out. I thought 67 give me a little bump to the pace car.
Yeah, I will say the 8 gave the 67 a little bump as well. Now, I will say, I know Joe Gibbs is normally working together. But Charles has proven right now that he was not going to go with a teammate, leaving Davey out. Cody has been working with Peter. So, this could get interesting.
That's the thing. We got a lot of different cars here. It'll be interesting to see who works with who. Now, will we get the traditional wreck to the line?
Depends on if Charles is up there. Yes, he's gonna go for the win, no doubt about it. Great. I mean, he's a good driver. He is an aggressive driver, but he's gonna go for that win.
I will say the biggest thing about this track is the pace laps take forever.
That is very, very true.
Getting ready to go.
Lord.
Green flag is out. And the outside did not go.
They actually had a checkup because of Casey ran into the back of the 21 before the start even started, as
The
he's
20
going
and
to
67.
cut off Brian.
Oh, they're wrecking already.
Fortunately, that one wreck has DQ'd Isaac,
Yeah, and he
Castle,
was. Let's go back and watch that.
and gave Joe another meatball.
So that all started, I think it was the 23? Well, here, we'll take a look at Isaac's point of view so I could just see where it started.
It
Yeah, it was a
actually
23.
gave the 16, gave Davey a huge bump in the corner, which then kind of caused that whole deal.
Oh, yeah, it sets him down and into. Alright, so we're going to get another shot at this.
Now there is 2 more green-white checkers. Now there is a couple people real close to that DQ limit again. That one little spin could cause an issue.
James Bowles getting a lap back.
Yep, would have been Danny, but He kind of got a little involved in that wreck. Now, I will say, I kind of hope Peter does win the race. Main reason being was in that wreck earlier on. With Maddie and half the other field. Okay, FJ, out of the top 10 right now, as they sit, who has the best chance to win?
I'm going to go. I think Jalen might be able to pull it off, to be honest.
Top 10, I feel like Davey is going to be aggressive enough to get up there. If it's just all around who's on the lead lap, I kind of want to see Michael win. Mr. Heckstrom.
Ooh, that'd be a good pick, too.
Main reason being he had a real good car at Indy last week. Kind of got involved in some other people's messes. You know, Rhea's a big Ford gal, but there is 6 Toyotas. She is in a Toyota sandwich.
Yeah, and you know how she feels about Toyotas.
She has 1 Chevy half in front of her, and then her teammate in 10th.
Now, this will be the last restart, regardless if it goes green or not.
No, you actually have 1 more green, white, checkered.
Oh, so it is 3.
It is 3, yes. You were correct.
Never mind.
I could not remember. I don't do very good on race notes. No one tell Rhea. She'll have a heart attack.
You know, Brian is sitting at 21st on the lead lap. If he's able to gain a few spots and a big wreck happens before they take a white, he might be sitting good too. Honestly, it's anybody's race.
It really is. I mean, Brian definitely is going to have a really good way around it. Just looking at who's kind of in the middle ahead of him. They're not the greatest wreck avoidance drivers. They're not going to cause wrecks, but they slow down a lot more. Being Superspeedway, if it's off the racing surface to an extent, that's quite a bit of spots.
As green flag is out and away they go. Now, if I'm them on the outside, I would not leave that high side. That high side will be the only place you can potentially make a pass right now, as Jalen is doing everything in his might, pushing that 20 to its limits.
Now, I will say, I feel like for Jalen to really win and do super good,
Oh, they're racing so aggressive.
he should have stayed with the 19.
He is all over the... Oh, he is pushing that 20 to its limits.
Ooh, as they're wrecking... Oh.
We're gonna have a third attempt. Let's see who brought this. Was it Brian?
It looks like no. It actually looks like Chris came up a little bit onto the 16 and the 91.
Oh yeah. Yep. So now Jalen has set himself up in a little bit of a predicament. He needs to have a decent start, but he will be on the outside. Now, if I'm Charles and I have control of the restart, I kind of would want to take the outside, take it away. Now let's see here. The inside's gonna get a better launch, unless Jalen somehow makes the outside work. Seeing the way the pushing was, I really hope they make it to the white flag, because I would not want this race to end under yellow. Now, speaking of what I had mentioned right before we took the green, Brian Chu was able to gain about 5-6 spots in that little incident, and he's sitting 16th. I would not be surprised if there is a big wreck with the leaders on the white flag that allows them to at least get a top 10. Alrighty, they're gonna get lined up. Last opportunity to get this done. I think it'll go green, but I think there's gonna be a wreck on the backstretch of the white flag. Got them all lined up, getting ready. Should be interesting to see if they can pull it off.
Such a good person. I moved myself to the wrong chat. Okay, we're cutting it close on time.
Are we really?
Yeah. Yep, we are actually at 2 hours and 22 minutes out of
Oh,
a
we should be able to
200
get
or
this
2
in.
hour and 20 lap minute. We got 4 minutes left.
Oh, we'll get this in. Because either way,
As
this is
long
the
as
final
another
one.
caution. This is true.
Final restart.
Hopefully it goes green.
Here we go. Getting ready. Charles represent on the inside. Jalen Battle on the outside. Let's see how this restart goes. Green flag is out. Jalen was able to get a really good restart. That 67 is going to push him up. Now is Robertson going to block? No, they settle the inside. Oh, keep it clean, fellas. Keep it clean. Oh, Jalen's going to get stuck on the inside. Oh, no. Oh, he makes the move. He's on the outside. Oh. He's going to be able to do it. 67's going to die down. Oh, the wiggle from Jalen. He's going to dive. Oh, I would have stayed high, I think. Oh, they get turned. Oh, that's going to end the race. That is going to end the race. Oh,
what
that would have been.
was the 22 doing?
That would have been such a good ending. He saw a gap. I see the gap, but he messed up the opportunity. He checked up too. I would have just gunned it and gone in the middle. Oh, that's a little disappointing for that race. That had the potential to be such a good ending. Everybody battling.
Now, the downside is Car got black flagged on that, or got DQ'd on that last lap. Chris.
Well, folks, that was the final green-white checkered, meaning that this is the white flag lap. Your winner is going to be the 67 of Peter Therault. Second place will be Jalen Battle, and Charles Robertson will round out your top three. And that'll do it. The end of the race. Let me see here as we get ready to. I'm waiting on the top 3 to enter the winner's circle. Your race winner, Peter Thoralt, is 67. See if they have entered. There we go. So let's see here. So our top 3 for the race. I am waiting on Charles Robertson and Jalen Battle to hop on up. Ooh, as we definitely got beef. Dylan. All right, still waiting on Charles Robertson. As I do not see him in the winner's circle. All right, let me go ahead and bring up our second place finisher in the meantime. And move him in here. Alrighty, we are talking with our second place finisher, Mr. Jalen Battle. Jalen, you got a copy?
10-4. Got you guys.
Well, alrighty. So I'm assuming you wish that would have ended a little bit differently instead of under caution. How was it like racing out there with these group of drivers?
I mean, par for the course for plate racing. It was getting pretty aggressive up there, but we somehow didn't wreck up front, so that was pretty good. I mean, there was a few late blocks, and I felt like I was kind of giving a bit more than I was taking, but overall, we had a really fast Liberty University Integral Sports Chevrolet. Man, one short sucks. I don't know what would happen there if we got one more lap there. If we got to the white flag, I don't know if I had any help behind me, so it would have been hard to really make a move and know what was going to happen. But shout out to the 67. He ran a good race. He was a little aggressive on the pushing, but he did what he needed to do, I suppose, and got himself in position to win. So, I mean, hey, I'll take that. Long race, long day. I'm happy it's over there.
For sure, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Now, I know with that caution coming out, were you hoping you would at least get the green and have a chance to at least battle for the win? Because it looked like you were gonna have a monster run to try and get around them.
Yeah, I was trying to set it up, and even the restart before the second attempt at the green red checkered, I thought I was in a really good position there to get the lead. You just get such massive runs in these cars where like you kind of are, if the person in front of you blocks, you kind of just wreck. But yeah, I was trying to set something up there before the last restart, and then even then, I thought the inside was gonna have a run, and the 20 was gonna be boxing, so you had to hit me, which I think was going to happen there, but then I think in our row back, someone got loose and got turned. So yeah, obviously we got through the trial a little much, and then the caution would have came out with me in the lead. Definitely think the run I would have got would have helped out there, and could have been one position higher. But hey, that's how it crumbles. And hey, I think PT is pretty solid for Talladega's sake.
For sure. Well, we greatly appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We'll go ahead and let you celebrate your second place finish with your team, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, 10-4, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, let's go ahead and talk to our race winner, Mr. Peter Thoralt. Alrighty, Peter. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, congrats on the win. It was definitely a interesting race, very hectic. Had a lot of, well, I'll say monster wrecks. Now, right there at the end, were you hoping a caution would come out when you were in the lead, or were you hoping it would go green?
Well, I really didn't know what I wanted there. I wanted the race to end, because man, this was a long race with a lot of carnage in it. But I'm definitely, when I got out front there, I assumed I wasn't going to be able to hold it for a whole nother lap. So I guess when I got out front, I was hoping for a caution. Luckily, that's what I got. I had to make some pretty aggressive moves to get there, and I'm happy that me and Jalen were able to keep it clean up there at the front because it worked out well. And I mean, bringing home P1 first win here in ISNF feels really good. The Black Ruffle Coffee Company number 67 2311 machine was so good tonight. It was just pushing like amazing. I could get behind somebody and push them tandem with them for like a lap and a half straight before I had to get off them because I was going to blow the motor. But had some really good runs to the front. Started all the way back in 22nd. But yeah, I mean, cannot be upset about the result here, getting the win at Dega.
For sure, especially at a track where the runs are basically you live by them or you die by them, and you really have to predict them if you're going to try and throw a block. If not, you time it by just a millisecond off, you're going to end up in a wall or on your hood. So, solid performance by you. As you mentioned, you moved up quite a bit of spots. So, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, so obviously I got to thank all the guys over at 2311 and Joe Gibbs Racing. We worked together really well there at the end of the race. Got to thank admins of the league here, Rhea Ferris. I got to thank you guys for broadcasting. And got to thank Toyota for giving me such a great piece here tonight.
Well, alrighty, Mr. Peter. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We'll go ahead and let you get back to your team and celebrate. We look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, yeah, thank you.
All right, that was your race winner. I believe that's all we're going to have for today. So let's go ahead and go over our results for the day's race. So you got Peter Thorall taking the W as he went 25 spots in the positive. I believe he might have been tied for the biggest mover. Actually, no, the 23 of Roberto Moda was our biggest mover, up 30 spots. Jalen Battle finishing second. Charles Robertson in the 20 finishing third. Angel Hernandez able to come back from being wrecked to finishing fourth. Cody McCorkle in the 45 able to finish in fifth. Roberto Moda, as we mentioned, the biggest mover, up 30 spots in the 23 finishing sixth. Michael Hagstrom in the 15 finishing seventh. Michael Iskandar having a solid performance today in the 1 finishing eighth. Joey Maines in the 42 having another solid week finishing ninth. Linus Brostrom in the 16th finishing 10th. James Bowles, as you saw, was a couple laps down, was able to work his way back up and finish 11th. Jonas Skoglund in the 14th finishing 12th. Brian Chu, also another driver who was a lap down, in the 54 finishing 13th. Casey Tomlinson, as we saw, came from the back and finished 14th. Steven Sear in the 5 finishing 15th. Jeff Weimer in the 2 finishing 16th. Bob Wyckoff in the 78 finishing 17th. George Kovacic in the 11 finishing 18th. Rhea Ferris in the 12 finishing 19th. Eugene Thorne in the 21 finishing 20th. Davey Hendricks was there at the end, but unfortunately got taken out and finished 21st. Daniel Homer, same situation. We saw what happened there, made contact and hooked A Driver finishing 22nd. Jake Grout in the 13th, finishing 23rd. Chris Van Maastricht in the 17th, finishing 24th. Jackson Carr, I believe, got DQ'd in the 8th, finishing 25th. Danny Solo had a blue screen, is what I've seen, in the 4, finishing 26th. Shane Griffin in the 91, finishing 27th. Isaac Wilson got DQ'd as well, finishing 28th. Johnny Castle in the 34, finishing 29th. Joe Gralva in the 51, finishing 30th. Lindsey Lyles in the 10, finishing 31st. Matty Moniak in the 41, finishing 32nd. Rosa Laszlo in the 9, finishing 33rd. Christian Delgado, we saw as we were interviewing him, having internet connection issues, finishing 34th. Kiko Garcia in the 47, finishing 35th. Zach Phillips Sr. in the 31, finishing 36th. Joshua Grasso unfortunately got involved in 2 wrecks that took him out in the 38, finishing 37th. Tristan Rivers in the 36, finishing 38th. And Tommy Stanley doing a starting park in the 62, finishing 39th. We appreciate you all taking the time to watch the broadcast. If you are not already a subscriber, feel free to hit that follow button and go ahead and hit the like button. And we appreciate y'all taking the time to watch it. We'll go ahead and catch y'all next week.